Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, I want to pull up the email from today, so bear with me. Stay right there, don't go anywhere. That rhymes, like, oddly enough. All right, so I just want to pull this up. Bop, 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 bop. All right, so welcome. Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? So, super cool. Last night we sent out the rest of the coin for everyone from the weekly recurring. So, two things. One, well, actually, three things. One, if you did not receive your coin, and we don't have your wallet address, email VEE at rhinostreet.com. And in fact, let me put it in the chat. If we do not have, now, a couple of things, right? So the dashboard where everyone's going to be able to put their wallet address and save it will be done, right? There is an easier way of doing this. While that's being coded out, it's very manual, right? Because we did go ahead and provide that, but it did provide some kind of bugs to some people and not so many bugs to others. For instance, I was able to save my wallet address there, but others are not. And what I found out, or at least what Steve had identified, was those that created more than one account, what the system was doing was it was prioritizing the account with the least amount of data. So for instance, if you made two Anthony at rhinostreet.coms and one went ahead and you put in the wallet address and the other one didn't, well, when I put the wallet address in, it saved. But it then prioritized the account that didn't have the wallet address. So then when I went back on, I didn't see a wallet address. So then I put the wallet address in and saved, but now it's a duplicate wallet address, so it's invalid. The point being that was a bug that you could not solve. So you just had to recode it. So if you only made one account, you should be fine. But if you accidentally or purposely, whatever, it doesn't matter, made two accounts, no big deal. It's just a manual process. So what we're saying, or at least what we're trying to share, is email VEE at rhinostreet.com your wallet address. Okay. If you have not received your coin and we do have your wallet address, that's user error, which is a really nice way of saying you just made a mistake on your end. No big deal. A lot of this is quite confusing. In fact, I'm trying to buy coin right now, and I sent it here, and then it has to go there, and it has to go there. Oh, hey, what's up? Yeah, no, totally cool. So the Hogan family is a part of it. I spoke to Tim and Tom, I believe, last night. One from New Orleans and one from Southern California. Tough life, right? Super cool people. But anyway, so, not anyway, that sounds rude. But, and nextly, right? If we have your wallet address and you did not receive coin, the most common error, which by the way, I spoke to Evelyn yesterday from Paris, and she's like, Ant, you should really have a Q&A somewhere. And I was like, oh my God, what a great idea. Because I work with V every day, and at the end of the week, what we always do is what's our 10 most asked questions? What's our 10 most popular questions? And then her and I will go through the answers so that the next week we can identify and solve those questions. But what would be even a step further is if we had a Q&A of those questions so that people never had the opportunity to have those questions. To be clear, the only coin we should see is the purchase coin, not the bonus coin you gave out. Correct. To be clear, there's 3 tiers of coin. One is the weekly investment coin that's liquid to you immediately. 2 is the investment coin that you purchased during the last year as we built. 3 is the reward coin. In that order is how the coin becomes distributed and liquid to you. Once the platform starts growing, which everyone could see, right? The email, we have another 7 that joined yesterday, 6 before. 13 is the most we've had join in a 2-day span since we started. And to start seeing that level of growth this mature into the process is quite a big deal. So, Robbie, all right, so I'm getting to that, right? Didn't get all the weekly recurring amount. What I would actually ask of you is if you can go ahead and email me what your number is. I'll look at it against what our number is, and if it's really close, then it might have been our error, right? If it's pretty far from each other, then we'll just have to recalculate together. But to that point, I did calculate everyone's coin, and everyone should receive everything that they put in. All right, so let me get back to number 2 because I'm kind of all over the place because I got to tell you, these last 2 days, it's overwhelming. Because it's high volume of complicated stuff. You see, once this platform matures, or at least once we get the coding done, the user, you will be able to save your wallet address, and then that will automatically send reoccurringly, like it's already done. Until that coding is done, the user is sending us the wallet address to the best of their ability from following direction. And then upon not receiving the coin, it then comes down to, did I get the wrong wallet address? Did we send it to the wrong place? Did it not really send out? Or D, none of the above? In which case, take that and multiply it by 300, and you find that the day becomes overwhelming. But that's not to say that it's too much, it's just a lot. But that's the life we chose, right? Like, this is what this looks like. This is what ground floor looks like. This is what inventing something looks like. You go ahead and identify, okay, this is too much, solve it, next, next, next. And I would say from a year ago, we've kind of done that every day. So the challenges we have today will likely not be the challenges we have tomorrow. And in fact, as we continue going forward, I think everyone has seen the email this morning. The numbers are just getting larger. We now have 313 individuals reoccurring payments every single week. Now, let me get back. I want to touch on that for a second because there is an obvious thing that everyone should notice, or maybe not, I don't know. But again, we're going to share every thought with everyone. But first, if you did not send your wallet, send your wallet address v@rhinostreet.com, and we will get the coin out to you. Because once we have the wallet address, it then gets saved in the bot, and then it's just automated from that point forward. So it's set it and forget it, or invest it and forget it, or set it and invest it. I don't know. Forget it seems like something you don't want to do with your money, so we'll work on that. 2, if you sent us the wallet address and you have not received the coin, it is most likely because your wallet address is on the Ethereum network. And you might say to me, Anthony, it's not because I switched my thing to the Binance network, which you probably did. No one's saying otherwise. But, and this is the error I have, which is why I know it. Remember in the beginning when I was like, oh, I haven't received my coin in 6 days and I don't know what to do, it's Trust Wallet. Again, I walked this road already, right? Like, it wasn't that I'm saying, okay, this is you. We all saw me not know where my own coin was. So this isn't me talking like, silly goose. It's like, no, I know where you are. Like, I was there. When you go ahead and import token on Trust Wallet and or MetaMask, in that setting, in that form, the top choice says network. And then it's separated from the bottom choices, which say contract address, token symbol, and decimal numbers. It seems like that top is almost like a heading, but it's not, it's a choice. Where it says network, you click it and you put in Binance Smart Chain. It's by default on Ethereum. So once you click Binance Smart Chain, then put the contract address and you'll see Rhino Bucks populate. When you do that with Trust Wallets, actually what you'll see is now you have 2 Rhino Bucks, one on Ethereum and one on Binance. What we suggest is deleting well, I don't think you could delete it, but toggling off the setting for the Ethereum one, so you have just the Smart Chain one. And that's the same thing with MetaMask too, because yesterday I did spend time with many different individuals over the phone going through this, to the point that when I got on my 3 and 3:30 calls, I sounded awful. My apologies to Bob and to Mohammed. They were asking me questions that I normally know the answer to, and I was like, it just is. And they're like, that's not a good answer. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. And of course I didn't say, I don't know what to tell you. I'm like trying to talk in circles. And I find that I'm getting exhausted running on a hamster wheel because my brain just shut off. Fortunately, my brain then had a slice of pizza and some family time. So by the time I spoke to Tim and Tom, we had a great chat. And then I had a 6:30 that didn't answer, but I saw he rescheduled for the 3rd time today, and that's okay too. Choice number 3. If you did receive your coin, congratulations. I am amongst those that did receive my coin. Now, that's not meant to be funny, right? Like I created a trust wallet too. I participate in the weekly recurrings. I have $100 account, right? So I receive the coin just the same way you do. And that's not because I'm I don't know. I don't know a bad reason for that. I want to see what everyone's seeing so that we can all be in it together and we can solve it together. If something, like for instance, if I didn't get my coin, I would say, what did I do wrong? Because I got my coin and because my wife got her coin, because her mother got her coin, all by following the same directions, I have a certain level of confidence that the directions are correct. Because I've never been big into crypto. My wife and her mother are from St. Lucia. They don't exactly grow up with a certain a proficiency in computers, especially not actually that sounds weird. Delete all that, right? When I met them, they weren't computer people, right? Period, end of story. So we have everyone from different ends of the spectrum. And on top of that, my brother is in it and he could not figure out how to get it. And I talked him through on the phone and he did. Let me see the chat because I see Janice is agreeing with Rue. So I want to see, why not add the amount invested and the number of bucks on the invoice or receipt? So that's actually a good suggestion. I think we probably could. It's the thing is it's an extra step, and I don't mean for it to sound extra steps are bad, but this particular step is what is the amount, and then you have to find the amount of coin, what the current market price is, divide it, then take that number and put it into the invoice, which is a lot of coding because the invoices are generated by Stripe, they're not generated by us, in which case we have to go to Stripe, get their coding for the invoice. So it just ends up being a lot. What you will find that does do the same thing for you is now that the bot has your wallet address, upon any investment, the bot gets the coin immediately and sends it to you. So instead of having it on the invoice, say for instance, oh, I bought $25 today. That was my recurring. It was a $25 investment. Well, the amount of coin that $25 allotted me, I'll find in my wallet immediately. I do understand that, well, Anthony, there's no kind of check and balance against that, right? Like if it's the wrong amount, how would I know it's the wrong amount? I would say that that's a manual process, but an easy one, right? Like, okay, I bought coin on January 5th. I bought $25 on January 5th. What was the price of the coin on January 5th? My dollar amount divided by the price of the coin equals the amount I should have received. If that's the amount I received, it was correct. If it's not the amount I received, then it was incorrect. And I don't mean for that to sound like, oh, well, here's an extra step of work. That's kind of how every market is in the world, right? So if I call my stockbroker and say, buy me 10 shares of Microsoft at market price, at the end of the day, I'm going to take a look and say, okay, well, what was the price? What was the amount of shares I have? Cool. If I'm doing it every single week, well, I might investigate it once a month, because if that number is correct, the odds are all I'm correct. If I do it once every month, well, if that's correct every month, well, the other ones are correct every month. If it's wrong, then I'll do a further investigation. So to the point of that, that's the answer I'd like to give you. Invoices. Yeah, Robbie, everyone receives Stripe invoices every time a transaction is done. Also, the last point I wanted to make to you, and by the way, v@rhinostreet.com, anyone that has any questions, comments, concerns, which there are a lot right now, like I know that, we just launched it, which is why we A, know there's questions, and B, they're very helpful to us. So please don't be shy, because if you have a question, likely someone else does. So if we could address it, that's a good thing. Remember, by the end, it feels overwhelming this week. By the end of this week, we would have identified all of the processes and put them in place that next week we'll look back and say, oh my God, last week was a lot, but we made it through it and now it's done. Now it's on to more stuff. So that's just the way this works. Now, mind you, whenever you're in something that has the promises of great profit, like for instance, we're planning on being $100 by Christmas. It's now October 26th and we're $1.42. That's what? It used to be 100 times return. Now it's like 75 times return. To get a 75 times return in 2 months, is that supposed to be easy? Is that supposed to be without challenge? Is that supposed to be headache-free, frustration-free? Well, it'd be nice, but the odds are if you're able to get that much return, you're taking a level of risk or you're getting into something at a level of immaturity. So this is all commensurate. It's very unfair if anyone says, oh my God, this, and completely negates the fact that the reward is commensurate with the headaches involved. And it is my job to do two things. One, minimize the headaches, and B, make sure that the profit is there. And I'm doing my best at that. Being in ground level means we are part of your learning process and curve, but that is a privilege of seeing it from the start time. Thank you. The last with you there. Thank you, everyone. Seriously. Because I can promise you, when I'm not on this camera, it's a lot, right? Yeah, we're gonna get through it. The last thing I do want to say, though, and this is really, really super important, we should be buying more coin every day because there's more money that's coming in. But through the process of getting it to Coinbase and getting it here and here and here, it is back-ended. So there is a lot more coin that's set to be purchased next week than that is being purchased right now. I do want to say that because if anyone, rightly says, all right, Ant, there's this much coin coming in, but I could see the blockchain, there's only this much being bought, where's it going? It's all in transit. With that being said, we have always said we're going to minimize the rise of the coin to a cent per day until we allow the lid to come off. Which then does beg the question, Anthony, how are you getting to $100 by Christmas if you're going to keep it to a cent per day? Which actually is two conflictual things, because unless the 1 billion's gone by then. So we'll revisit that and we'll come up with that together, because I don't think both things could be true. So it's just going to continue going up is the point. And a lot of the money's back-ended. I think that's everything. All right, let me get to work today. Everyone, I totally love. Oh, Robbie, so I see that you had, if someone did not receive coin, please, email v@rhinostreet.com and CC me. I see a lot of people emailing me, which I love, right? But what one needs to understand is right now it's the super high volume time, and there's so much that I need to do that on a regular day, I could, even Anthony moving twice as fast is able to get to stuff. Anthony right now is moving 5 times as fast and still not getting to stuff. So if you can email V in lieu of emailing me, please. If it needs me, well then duh. I always say I'm always busy, but I'm never too busy. Question, are we to not invite heavy spenders? No, invite whoever you want. The goal is that you get them into the reoccurring. Because if someone is opted into the weekly investment, that's the best case scenario. Because we know that they're going to continue buying regularly. We can not monitor, that's a really bad word, but we can calculate the demand going forward. If somebody comes in and just buys the coin on the market, great. Like that's super, super cool. But they might not be aware that we're gonna hold it to 1 cent per day. Therefore, if someone buys a bunch of coin today and they send the coin to $2, I'm going to sell a bunch of coin and bring it right back down. That person then might say, oh my God, I had a profit and it went away. I can't believe this. I don't want to be in it. And they're going to sell all their coin. Well, now when they sell it, I have to come in and buy a whole bunch, and it just gets a little messy. It's not easy managing a market, but we're going to do it, right? So as long as everyone has a level of confidence that, hey, I'm here, let me just leave it alone, you'll be fine. I don't think you'll be able to hold the coins much longer. Actually, I'm kind of along the same lines with you, because I'm already starting to see purchases that are outside of our ecosystem, which is fine. But it's very important that we get as many accounts as possible, because the thing that will mess this up is if there's a whole bunch of people that jump in, the coin gets exhausted on one-time purchases, and then the 300 to 350 accounts are left the ones holding the bag, buying the reoccurrings, while there's an overwhelmment of selling that's outside of what we're doing. So we need to build the plan. So I got to tell you, if all of a sudden we start seeing the coin really spiking, we will make a decision, because we need to have the accounts to the thousands, even the tens of thousands. We're only at 313. So I'm going to do my best. Oh my God, I'm so far over. It's 10:20. Guys, I seriously love you. I got to get going. So we're all screwed if Uncle Elon speaks out about us. No, because Anthony has I promise you I have, there's other cool stuff. Just let me surprise you. Love everyone. Thank you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.